Am I in frame? Because I can barely see myself.
Yes, you are.
Okay.
You might want to go a little bit to your left.
This left?
There. Yes, perfect. Okay, well, welcome to the show, everybody. Today we have with us Mr. Christopher Key, and he is the founder of the Vaccine Police. And at this point, I'm just going to turn it over to him to introduce himself.
Well, yes, ma'am. Real quick, my name is Christopher. Christ is in me is in my name, and they can't stand that. My last name, never forget it, is Key. God's given us the keys to open up the doors that Satan never wanted open. But we have to quit being divided, because you may be Jewish, I'm Catholic, you may be black, I'm white. We all bleed red, but most importantly, they're coming for every single one of us and our children and our grandchildren. And we're in very interesting times right now. A little bit about myself. I've been part of 4 national championships, 3 Super Bowls. I've been on the cover of Sports Illustrated, been on 60 Minutes, Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert. They've done everything they can to silence and make fun of what we do, but we help people without drugs, without chemicals, without surgery. And the government came in 11 years ago, fined us hundreds of millions of dollars, seized everything we own. I've got a court order for life. I can't have anything to do with health, wellness, and pain management in my great state of Alabama. And when COVID came about, I began to speak out again, and the government fined me another $6 million. That's before the Alabama Supreme Court. As of right now. But my greatest accomplishment in life was the day I became a father. And that was the day my twins were born, and they were born with the most rare disease on the planet called phenylketonuria. They'll never eat protein, no milk, no chicken, no cheese, no fish, no birthday cake, no ice cream. Nothing that has protein would they ever eat. If they do, becomes toxic, goes straight to the brain, and causes the most extreme mental retardation there is. Okay. I'm a huge researcher. My background's in exercise physiology, kinesiology. I used to own a bunch of health clubs. I helped bring to market a device called the Bod Pod that everybody laughed at me, made fun of me, said there's no way you could sell this $35,000 unit that measures body fat, but it's now the gold standard around the world. We sold it to the Buffalo Bills, Indianapolis Colts, every major university in the country. And I was very well respected in health and wellness until I went down a rabbit hole about vaccines. Because that day my twins were born, after we went up into the pediatrician's office, I asked the doc, I said, look, doc, my kids have this rare disease known as PKU. He's like, oh, yeah, I've read about that, but I've never had a child, much less 2, with this extremely rare disease. And I said, well, doc, you're wanting to vaccinate my children today. So what can you tell me about PKU and vaccines? And he said, Mr. Key, I don't know anything about PKU and vaccines, but what I do know is your kids are part of this new schedule. This is in 1998, where they're going to get 72 vaccines before they're 18 years of age. And I said, wow. And I asked him, I said, why? And he said, I don't know. I said, okay. I said, well, look, are there any studies, because I'm very well researched, are there any studies to show that this new schedule is safe? Because I love vaccines. My health clubs, we used to pay to have everybody vaccinated because I thought vaccines cured polio. I thought they were the greatest thing since sliced bread. And all my medical doctors who were my best friends said, vaccines were everything. So I'm like, look, are there any studies that show that this new schedule is safe? And he said, Mr. Key, there's probably at least 1,000. No, there's probably 10,000 plus studies. I said, well, great. Can I see one? He said, do what? I said, can I see one of those 10,000 studies that this new schedule is safe? And he's like, Mr. Key, nobody's ever asked me that. I'm like, well, I'm asking you, and I need to see one of those studies. He's like, look, I don't have time to give it to you right now. I'll have to get it ready by your next visit. And it's like, well, do you not trust me? I'm like, doc, brother, I don't know you. You came recommended from a friend, and no, I don't trust you. I'm sorry. He says, well, can we vaccinate your kids today? I'm like, no, you're not touching my twins until I see one of those 10,000 studies that this new schedule safe. And he said, well, look, I'll make sure it's emailed to you by your next visit. I said, well, great. So our next visit, he was supposed to email it. We got no email from Doc. So we go in for our checkup, And the nurse has 3 shots out for my son, 3 shots out for my daughter, and they're about to inject them. And I'm like, ma'am, doc was supposed to email me one of those 10,000 studies. You're not touching my twins until I see one of those studies. So you need to go get doc and we need to talk. So she go gets doc, and doc comes in and he won't look at me. And he's looking all around the room and he's like, Christopher, there are no studies. But Christopher, they have to be safe. They've been approved by the CDC, the FDA, the AMA. You don't trust us? I'm like, no, hell no, I don't trust you, doc. You told me there were 10,000 studies that this new schedule's safe, and now you tell me there's not one. I said, you've lost your freaking mind. And I said, more importantly, doc, I watched you inject that child across the way before you came in here, and you still want to inject my children? He said, of course. I said, it's not happening. He said, well, I think you need to leave. So I left that day, and I went down a rabbit hole of studying vaccines. And all your listeners out there, please hear me when I say this. There is no vaccine that should ever, in my belief, and I'm not a medical doctor, thank God, I don't practice anything. There is no vaccine that should ever be given to an animal, much less a precious child. And it was like, Christopher, how can you say that? Well, why would you say that? Because vaccines have cured polio, without them, measles and mumps and all these things would have ran rapid. How can you say that? Well, I did the research in 1998, and I started with the 1986 Act. Most of you have no idea what it is. But in 1986, Ronald Reagan passed the Vaccine Injury Act that exempt, hear me, that it said it exempt all vaccine companies of any and all liability. Did you hear what I just said? 1986, Ronald Reagan passed the Vaccine Injury Act that exempt all vaccine companies from any and all liability. Everybody's like, well, why would Ronald Reagan do that? Because the vaccine companies were being sued for millions and millions and millions of dollars, and they were on the verge of bankruptcy, and they said, we're not going to continue to operate unless you exempt us of any and all liability. So President Reagan did this in 1986. Exempt the manufacturers of vaccines from any and all liability. Wouldn't you love to have a company where the government came in and said, look, we're going to exempt you of any and all liability, but more importantly, we're going to mandate that everybody takes your product. And you
like
can't
they did with COVID.
Say that again?
Like they did with COVID. My sister had to take the COVID shot because she was still nursing at the time, and she had a stroke, and it left her paralyzed.
I'm so sorry for your sister, but she didn't have to do anything. She chose to do it, and that was a choice that I wish she would have been more informed. I wish other people would have been more informed, because our Lord and Savior says, test and prove all things. Not some things, not a few things, not the little things, but all things. And everybody that's listening, and please hear me, there is no vaccine. There never will be a safe vaccine ever. Never, ever. And if you don't want to believe me, you go back to 2010, Wyatt versus Bushwick. Pharmaceutical company Wyatt was sued by the Bushwicks. And in this ruling, the U.S. Supreme Court, the highest court in the land, ruled, and again, hear me, that all vaccines are unavoidably unsafe. Do you hear what I just told you? 2010, go look it up, Wyatt versus Bushwick. The United States Supreme Court ruled that all vaccines are unavoidably unsafe, which basically says if you take this, not a vaccine because they're all bioweapons, and you die, you're damaged, we told you they're unavoidably unsafe. And the most you can do is to go to vaccine injury court, where if your child dies or paralyzed like your sister or damaged, the most you can do is go to vaccine injury court, and the most you can get is $250,000 for the death or damage of your loved one. But mainstream media says they're safe and effective, safe and effective, safe and effective. Well, do you know that HHS, Health and Human Services, they did a study because there's a company, there's an organization called VAERS, where you report anytime your member or your family member is damaged from any vaccines, and we've been told that less than 1% report. But yet over $4 billion have been paid out for those that have been damaged or died. The most they can get is $250,000. But over $4 billion has been paid out for those that have been damaged or died. But yet again,
can I ask you a question?
Please.
What is your age?
My age?
Yes.
I will never tell that. Age is nothing but a number. I feel like I'm 21. I think I look like I'm in my 20s. And
I was asking because, I'm just around the corner from 60, and I took vaccines as a child. We didn't take as many, as they're requiring now. But do you believe that it's something has changed in the vaccines because the autism rate is skyrocketed? All these things are happening that did not, or at least we didn't hear about happening when I was growing up taking vaccines. And like I said, I'm almost 60. So I'm in the age group where we've got that big scar on our arm.
The polio vaccine. Sadly, again, you were damaged from that. I was damaged from all the vaccines. I'm dyslexic. I'm ADHD. I'm ADD. I'm LD. I'm DD and dumber. And I believe it all had to do with the bioweapons that were put into me because my mom and dad, like your mom and dad, didn't know any better. They thought the government was there to keep them safe. They thought the medical doctor that wore the white coat, that had the stethoscope around his neck, that he loved you and he wanted to take care of you. And that at the lower levels, they want to, but at the highest level, they want you dead. They used to want to do what was called a soft kill, and they kill you nice and softly so that you end up getting the disease. You go to a old folks home and you die penniless and a pauper because the last thing they want to do is transfer your wealth to your children and your grandchildren. But now their infrastructure is built. They only need $500 million to operate their smart cities, and they want you dead. And the sooner they can kill you off, the better. But the cool thing is that our bodies are resilient. God created us in his image, and our body's able to fight off many of these diseases. And going back to you being the age that you are, has something changed? Yeah, that they've got much more deadlier, but still, they were always bad. And you can see, when they introduced and really ramped this up in 1998, yes, the autism rate has went off the chart. Okay. Because these vaccines are bioweapons. And this is an end game. Like I said earlier, they want you dead. They only want $500 million to operate their smart cities. And the rest of us, that they call us in their own documents that we're useless eaters and feeders. Now, let me go back to the vaccine story because I want you people to really hear me this. And again, I'm painting a picture for you to show you what's happening. But I'm not going to be doom and gloom because they're very simple solutions. And this is why the government came after us 11 years ago, seized everything on and shut me down. And that's why they came after me again 3 years ago and fined me another $6 million. And that's why they're doing everything they can to silence me, why I can barely get on Facebook. I was one of the first people to get kicked off of Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter 11 years ago before Alex Jones, because we were given our truth. It may not be your truth, okay, but we love to help people without drugs, without chemicals, without surgery. Okay. Now let me go back to Ronald Reagan in 1986 when he passed the Vaccine Injury Act. That they said, look, if we're going to exempt all these vaccine companies from any and all liability, we've got to hold them accountable. So how are we going to hold them accountable? We're going to make them do safety studies, not every year, because that would be way too many safety studies, but every other year. We're going to make them do a safety study to make sure they're safe and effective. So Robert Kennedy Jr., who's head of the HHS, him and Del Bigtree sued HHS in 2018 to release the safety studies that were supposed to have been done every other year for 33 years. You want to know how many safety studies they did?
How many?
Guess. 33 years, every other year, they were supposed to do at least one. Guess how many safety studies they did?
Probably none.
Not one. Zero, nada, zilch. Not one safety study. But yet you constantly see on the television, I call it the television because it lies, and tells double lies on Sunday, because Sunday is not the Sabbath. I mean, we've been lied to about everything. But anyway, all they do is lie to you over and over again and tell you they're safe and effective, safe and effective, safe and effective, safe and effective, safe and effective. Well, I'm here to tell you they're not. And again, don't believe me. I didn't want to believe this. And I began to speak out about this 27 years ago. Everybody told me I was bat crazy. All my best friends who are medical doctors still to this day do not speak to me. And I love COVID. You have no idea how much I love COVID, because you people finally begin to question your government and begin to question things and begin to say, maybe this vaccine isn't safe and effective. Maybe it's not. And I'm so glad so many of you begin to wake up and realize that the vaccine that was put to market by warp speed by President Trump, that was a COVID-19 vaccine, was the worst vaccine that was ever created. Let me go back into mRNA technology, because this mRNA technology is this new great vaccine that they said. And what people don't realize is this mRNA technology was developed in 1962. Okay, in 1962, they got the best antibody response they'd ever gotten in the history of the world with vaccines. And they said, this will change vaccines forever. Okay, this will change vaccines forever. And they did this study on ferrets. Okay, because ferrets have the closest thing to an immune system as we humans. And these ferrets got the greatest antibody response they'd ever got in the history of the world. But then they exposed the ferrets to the live viruses. And would you like to know what happened to every single one of the ferrets in 1962?
Yes.
They dropped dead. Every one of them dropped dead. That's why the mRNA technology did not make it to market in 1962 or 72 or 82 or 92 or 2002 or 2012. But at warp speed under President Trump, they made it to market just in time for you, to save you and make you safe, and to cause myocarditis, to cause blood clots, to cause a stroke, to cause paralysis, to cause all these things, which they're doing. And it's pure evil. It's evil like we've never seen before. And this is satanic. This is Luciferic. This is their end game. And they're not going to stop. And this is why it's so important for you people that are listening to take care of this temple. Okay? You cannot go preach God's word if you don't take care of this temple. And they're poisoning this temple with the water, the food, the air, the supplements, the frequencies. They're poisoning everything. And when I went down that rabbit hole 27 years ago about vaccines, and I realized they were lying to me and they were poisoning us with vaccines, I'm like, okay, what might else they be doing? And then I studied the water. I was like, oh my gosh, they're putting fluoride in the water. They're putting chlorine in the water, all these toxic chemicals. And then I went to food. I'm like, oh my gosh, the nanobots, the nanodots, the toxic chemicals, the preservatives that are in our food. And then I went to the air, and I'm like, oh my gosh, why is all this aluminum, this phosphate, all this stuff in the air that we're breathing? Why? And then I went to frequencies. And I realized God spoke and we were. And everything is frequency. Everything is frequency. And if you go back and study history, you'll go back and see, with every step up, the telegram, the TV, the output of 5G, we would have a great pandemic. And it wasn't a virus. There are no viruses. Christopher, there's no viruses. No, there's not. There is no COVID. There is no measles. There is no mumps. There is no cancer. There are none of these things. What there is, and I believe, and over 5,000 medical doctors believe now, is all there is lack of cell-to-cell communication. Okay, when the cells quit communicating with each other, it causes inflammation. That inflammation, Big Pharma has given many names like cancer, COVID, measles, mumps. And I believe all you have to do, and we've proven this over and over again, is make the cells communicate again, make them start talking, because your body is electric. If you've never read the book, The Body's Electric by Robert Becker, we strongly encourage everybody to read that book and understand this body is electric. You make the cells start communicating again, which we'll talk about here in a second, because we have the ability to do that. But then you got to get rid of the toxins. And how do you get rid of the toxins? Masterpiece. This is the miracle. We were on the Matthew was on with Jesse Beltran on the Alex Jones show yesterday, talking about Masterpiece. This is a miracle. We'll talk about that here in a second. Dr. Robert Young is in prison right now because of this product. And then the icing on the cake is the IGF-1 derived from deer antler velvet. This product's been banned by the NFL, the PGA, Major League Baseball, the NCAA. Why? Because it works. It's the fountain of youth. And they don't want you to have access to this. Okay, so let me go in. Can we go into frequencies now?
Yes, please.
Do you have any questions about vaccines?
No, I know enough to know that I don't trust the government.
Well, that's very good. And they don't love you, and they're not here to keep you safe. It was written in stone in Georgia. Have you ever heard of the Georgia Guidestones?
Yes, I was actually born and raised in Georgia.
Okay, beautiful. Well, the Georgia Guidestones is where R.C. Christian put together the New World's commandments, the 10 commandments. And their number one commandment was to make sure the population stayed below 500 million.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Most people don't. Go look it up. Georgia Guidestones keep the population under 500 million. That means if the numbers are correct and there's 7 billion people on this planet, that means 6.5 billion of you have to be terminated. And you know the Georgia Guidestones fell to the ground on July 5th, 2022?
Yes, I know somebody bombed it or something, didn't they?
Well, we
Destroyed
don't know. We don't know what happened, but do you know who one of the last people to ever see the Georgia Guidestones erected before they fell? You know who was there?
No, who?
Me.
Oh, okay. So you went to see them.
Well, I've been there a couple of times, but July 5th, I had a speaking engagement in Georgia, and God told me to go to the Georgia Guidestones. I went there and I pulled up. It was pouring down rain. I pulled up at the Georgia Guidestones on July 5th. And it stopped raining, and I'll send you a photo. This beautiful rainbow formed over my vaccine police car and the Georgia Guidestones. And then within 8 hours later, they fell to the ground. True story.
Wow.
Yes, ma'am. But anyway, they want us below 500 million so they can put together their smart cities where you can have nothing and be happy. But let's go into frequencies, okay? Because I said earlier, God spoke when we were. And everything is frequency. A lot of you probably don't know a man named Royal Raymond Rife. I believe the most important people that walked the face of the earth, number one was Jesus Christ, number two was Nikola Tesla, and number three was Royal Raymond Rife. And in 1932, Royal Raymond Rife was given 16 terminal cancer patients by the equivalent of the American Medical Association. And in 30 days, he cured 14 to 16. Took him another 30 days to cure the other 2. 100% cure rate. And most of you people have never heard about this man. He created the universal microscope, which was the most powerful microscope on planet Earth, until they created the atomic microscope. And what people don't realize, when you take the atomic microscope and you magnify a cancer cell, it kills it. And you're looking at it while it was dead. Rife in 1932, with his universal microscope, he was able to magnify a cancer cell and look at it in real time. And then he was able to take his frequency generator and find the right resonant frequency to disintegrate that cancer cell. This is true science. This happened in 1932. Most of your people have never heard about this. They don't know anything about frequencies. But let me, all my medical doctors who I began to uncover this, and I went to them and I said, look, we're electric. Everything is frequency. They're like, Christopher, you're crazy. I'm like, well, okay, how do you tell if somebody's alive? First thing you want to look at is their heartbeat. That beat is what? A frequency. You also look at their brain waves. What is that? It's a frequency. Okay. A lot of your listeners have heard of lithotripsy. If you've ever gotten a kidney stone, they will put you in a tub of water and they will send frequencies through that water to break open the kidney stone. So if they can send frequencies into the body to break up kidney stones, why can't they send frequencies into the body to break up cancer tumors? Well, they can. And Royer Raymond Rife did this in 1932. And one of my best friends and my mentors, his name was Len Kinney from Tarrant, Alabama. I'm from Fultondo, Alabama. And he was diagnosed with terminal cancer at UAB in Birmingham nearly 30 plus years ago. And he was sent home to die. And he said no. And he made a bunch of money working with a company called Health South. It was the largest rehab center in the world. It was in Birmingham, Alabama. And he was able to purchase the original estate of Royer Raymond Rife, and he cured himself. He back engineered it, cured himself of terminal cancer. And we have this light that you sit under that shines that helps the body. It raises the vibration. And I used to work with a lot of athletes, and it was really hard for them to believe this light. Like, Christopher's just a light. So what I developed was this little chip right here. Okay. This little chip right here. What this is, guys, is a hologram. Okay. Holograms are storage centers for information. A lot of your cell phones, your laptops, they have holograms in there that allows them to store more MAGA memory. Okay. And what I've been able to do is take this hologram and fashion the speed of light, embed frequencies in the hologram, and then I put this hologram in your energy field, and it signals the body to do what God intended to do, which is heal itself. So anybody out there that has pain, this little chip right here is what got me into every NFL locker room, Major League Baseball, the PGA, NCAA in the country. I would literally have a hotel room where these athletes were staying. I would sit in the lobby and I would wait for Brett Favre or a Ray Lewis, and I would see them with shoulder pain or neck pain or back pain. Take this little chip, put one where the most pain is, put two more above or below, depending on if the pain is going up or down, and instantaneously the pain is greatly decreased, if not gone. And they would look at me and say, "Christopher, are you a witch doctor? What is in this?" Nothing's in this. This is a frequency. And then they would go on to win the Super Bowl or go on to win the national championship. As I told you guys, we were part of 4 national championships, 3 Super Bowls consecutively, 7 championships in a row. And this got so popular because I knew that nobody would listen to Christopher Key. But I knew from studying these satanic Luciferians that they were using Hollywood and the athletes to control the masses. And me understanding science, if they're using these athletes in Hollywood to control the masses, why can't we use Hollywood and the athletes to release the masses? So my goal was to try to get all these athletes and these Hollywood movie stars to begin to speak out about this technology. And it got so big that Roger Goodell, the commissioner of the NFL, sent all my athletes letters saying they had to disassociate from me or they would be suspended from the NFL. And then went to Major League Baseball, then went to the PGA, and then went to the NCAA. And all my athletes said, "Christopher, we love everything what you're doing. You know, we're going to continue to utilize your products, but we can't speak out about this anymore because we'll be suspended and we got to get paid." And through the grace of God, we met a guy named Vijay Singh. A lot of you may not know Vijay, but if you look him up, he was Tiger Woods before there was a Tiger Woods. And Vijay Singh had not won a golf tournament in many years. And we said, "Look, if we can get you back to the top of your game, will you tell the world?" He said, "Of course." I said, "Well, you're probably going to get suspended. They're probably going to sue you, but if you stand your ground and sue them back, you will win." So Vijay did, and he won 7 consecutive PGA tournaments in a row. He was suspended by the PGA. He sued the PGA, and he won. And because of that, we were unbanned by the PGA. We flew to Chicago to meet with 60 Minutes. We fly back, and there's 25 sheriffs and the attorney general at our office with an emergency injunction. They seized everything we own and shut us down. And it started with this little chip right here. And anybody out there, that's listening to this broadcast, if you want these chips, I don't sell them. I give them away for free. All you have to do is text me your name, address, and email, to 561-329-8434. That's 561-329-8434. Give me your name, address, and email, and I'll ship these anywhere in the world except my great state of Alabama. If you live in Alabama, I can't ship them to you. But if you have a friend that lives in Georgia, I can ship them to them. And if they ship them to you, that's on you. This right here are unbelievable for pain. Like I said, if you have knee pain, shoulder pain, back pain, elbow pain, you take one of these chips, put it where the pain is, take two others, put above or below. Instantaneously, the pain is greatly decreased, if not gone. My professors at the University of Alabama always taught me that if you don't understand something, you bring it back to the lab and you do what's called a randomized double-blind placebo study. So when we developed these and we've seen the results we were getting, I went back to my professors at Alabama, Dr. Joseph Smith. I'm sorry, Dr. Smith and Dr. Bishop. And I said, look, we're getting some amazing results from this. Will you do a randomized double-blind placebo study? And they said, of course. So what they did was they did thermal imaging photography. A lot of your listeners may know what thermal imaging photography is, or if they don't, it's where they take a photo and it is able to resonate little heat spots on the body. I mean, it puts it in 3D, and where there's inflammation, it will show up red. And if there's not inflammation, it'll show yellow. And if there's none whatsoever, it will show green. And Dr. Smith came back to me, Dr. Bishop came back to me and says, Christopher, what in the world is going on with this little chip? Because these people have shoulder pain, back pain, elbow pain. We take a thermal imaging photography of them. We see all this red inflammation, all this heat spots. We put 3 of your chips on there, wait 90 seconds, do a second photo, and it's completely gone. That red heat spot is completely green with maybe a little bit of yellow there. How is it? It's just a chip. Well, it's not just a chip, okay? This is amazing technology, and they were able to take these little rectangular chips. These you want to put on your cell phone, your laptop, any electronic device, and it's going to help you deal with the bad frequencies better. It's not going to block the frequencies, because if it blocked the frequencies, you wouldn't be able to get a phone call at all. But what this is going to allow your body to do is deal with these bad frequencies better. And this is why we were able to be part of 4 national championships, 3 Super Bowls, because again, if you're playing in the national championship, playing the Super Bowl, there's probably 100,000 people there. They all have these cell phones, and if what I'm saying is true, these cell phone frequencies are resonating throughout that football field, and it affects those athletes very, very negatively. But what if my athletes were able to raise their vibration so they wouldn't affect it as much, but more importantly, they had more energy, more strength, more endurance, more balance, less pain? What would happen? They would win. And they won over and over and over and over again. The stories I could go on and tell you would blow your mind. You can go read all the articles in Sports Illustrated, Yahoo. You can just Google Christopher Key and SWATs, and you can read all about this. And they don't want you to know about this. Dr. Smith and Dr. Bishop, when they did the strength test, say you could do 225 20 times, they would put 2 chips on there, do it a second time, and the athlete would get anywhere from 22 to 25 repetitions. This blew their minds. And this, I believe, makes the cells start communicating again, okay? It's so important to make the cells communicate again. And I love it when this technology does not work for one of you guys, because I want to know why God made you different, so I can go back to the lab and we can work on making this better, okay? So again, anybody that wants these, they're free. All you have to do is text me, 561-329-8434. You can also go to my website, christiskey.life, christiskey.life, or you can go to knn.org. Not CNN, but keynewsnetwork.org. Spell it WORLD. Don't be LD and go to .com or .info. It's christiskey.life or knn.world. Just click the free pain chips or energy chips, and we'll get them shipped out to you ASAP. If you're old school like me, you can just text me, name, address, and email to 561-329-8434. This makes the cells communicate again. And if God made you and they don't work, like I said, call me directly. God told me to take every phone call, return every text. I honor my Father in heaven. I love it when they don't work, because I want to know why God made you different, so we can go back to the drawing board, make this better. We have other technologies that raises the vibration. We have a device called the Cloud that's off the chart. We can talk about that later. But then you have to get rid of the toxins. Okay, you have to get rid of the toxins. And Masterpiece, this product right here is a miracle. 200 peer-reviewed published papers proven the nanobots, the nanodots, the mercury, the aluminum, the snake venom peptides, the graphene oxide are removed utilizing this product. Okay, 90 days, one bottle is 45 days. It's so important. Matthew and Jesse Beltran was with Alex Jones yesterday and the day before, and then last month, and they've got special equipment where they were able to show that Alex Jones had all these self-assembling nanobots in his body. And there's a new documentary coming out to go over all this, but they've been able to show how this product right here is able to disconnect and remove that from the body. Why? Because this is zeolite at the most small level with the highest negative charge on the planet. All these toxic chemicals, these nanobots, this graphene oxide is all positively charged. And what this does is go in and grab it, and then you poop, pee, or sweat it out. Okay. A lot of you guys know who David Icke is. Matthew and Jesse with David Icke in Australia a couple months back, and they were able to show how people that had not even taken the vaccine, haven't taken the nasal swab, just like Alex Jones, they were registering with these IP addresses. And this product right here was able to make that disconnect. This is so important right now. You know, whether you took the vaccine or not, we're seeing now that they're putting this, we've got all the patents to prove this, that this nanotechnology is in the water that you're drinking, it's in the food that you're eating, it's in the air that you're breathing, it's in your supplements now. It's in everything now. And that's why it's so important to get this product into your temple to begin to get those toxins out. And right now, anybody that wants this, they can go to knn.world. And at the very top, it says Masterpiece. All you do is click on that, and you don't have to buy the product. Right now, we're needing this. We need everybody to take the product, but we need as many people as we can to get this information out there, because we can't advertise on Facebook or YouTube or TikTok or anything. So we're asking you to go in there, become an affiliate. All you have to do is give us your name, a password. Your password has to have a special character in a capital letter. And then now you'll get a 10% discount. But more importantly, you're going to get a link where if you share this with your families and friends, we pay you 25% commission. Nobody does this. This is how we're trying to get this information out there to the masses, that they've done everything they can to stop this product right here. There's been hit piece after hit piece talking about how this product is not good, this product is evil, because they don't want you to have access to it. Dr. Robert Young, if you don't know Robert Young, please pray for him. He's in prison right now, and I believe one of the reasons why he's in prison right now is because of this product right here, Masterpiece. They don't want you to have access. This one bottle right here is a 45-day supply. We tell everybody to get at least 2 bottles, 90 days. I'll never stop taking it, because I know, as healthy as I am, I'm still being poisoned from, like I said earlier, the air that we're breathing, the food that we're eating, and the water that we're drinking. This graphene oxide is in everything now, because their end game is transhumanism. They're wanting to control your thoughts, or your mind, your body. And that's what these self-assembling nanobots are doing. You know, this is why all these people are getting these clots and whatnot, because it is killing them. And
now, what were you saying about the nasal swabs? Like the things that they gave out free for us to do self-testing? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And what
graphene oxide, the nanobots, the nanodots are in those swabs, and you're pushing it up into your brain, and you have these nanobots, these nanodots in your body, in your brain. And if you don't want to become a cyborg, if you don't want to become transhumanism, you need to get this technology out of your body instantaneously. And this is one of the best ways I've seen right now. This technology right here, it's very inexpensive. But one of the things I love to do, and I get in so much trouble for doing this, is a lot of people can't afford, one bottle of this, once you sign up, is $52. Like I said, you need 2 bottles. and it's an amazing product. But what if you can't afford it? Okay. Well, if you can't afford it, God created the antidote. What? What, Christopher? Well, he did. And when I went public with this back during COVID, Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, the Young Turks, Washington Post, New York Times, Rolling Stones, they did hit piece after hit piece after hit piece on me. Because I told the world that the antidote for those that took the mRNA technology, for those that had COVID, was very simply urine therapy. And everybody's like, oh my gosh, Christopher, that's disgusting. That's terrible. How can you talk about that? You're making us look foolish. You're this, that, and the other. Well, let me tell you, please listen when I say this, okay? Our Lord and Savior, my Lord and Savior says, test and prove all things. Not some things, but all things. And nearly 27 years ago, a friend of mine, David Wolf, had told me about urine therapy. And I'm like, David, I'm crazy, but I'm not drinking my own piss. It's just not going to happen. And then a couple months went by and I heard it from another medical doctor. And I was like, dude, drink? No. But then I heard it from a third medical doctor. And I'm like, really, Lord, I got to test and prove piss? Really? So I bought the book, Your Own Perfect Medicine by Martha Christie. I encourage everybody to download this book. You can buy it, but you can get it for free right now. Read this book and realize that this body is resilient. Okay. Dr. Group, if you don't know Dr. Group, look him up. He's one of my very good friends. He owns a company called Global Healing, and he was on President Trump's vaccine task force, and they've been studying this for 12 months. And Dr. Group came to me and said, look, Christopher, we have found the antidote that those that have COVID, that have taken the bioweapon, and this is what it is. And I said, well, great, tell me. He said, just wait a second. I said, dude, just tell me what it is. And he told me it was urine therapy. And I was like, that's beautiful, brother. That's amazing. Why? He said, why do you think that, Chris? He said, look, I've never went public with this, but I've been practicing urine therapy for 20 plus years now. And, all my medical team and medical doctors had all told me anybody that took the vaccine, they would be dead in 2 to 5 years. And my prayer every night was, God, I know with what we know with science right now, that there is no antidote from this bioweapon, but there has to be, and please show it to us. So what better way for these satanic Luciferians to create this toxic poison that there was no antidote, for them to inject it into your temple, and for your temple to create the antibodies, your liver spins it and you pee it out. All you have to do is take it right back in. And everybody's like, Christopher, that is so disgusting. How can you say that? Well, hear me when I tell you this. Anybody out there that knows anything about medical science, they know if you get bitten by a snake, you take antivenom, okay? But most of them don't know how antivenom is created. How antivenom is created is they take the snake, they milk it, they get the venom, they then inject that venom into a horse and or a sheep. They can inject it into any animal or any person or whatever, and the same thing happens. Any poison that enters the human body, instantaneously it creates antibodies. They then draw the blood out of the horse or sheep, they spit it, and that is antivenom. So again, guys, any poison that comes into your body, instantly your body creates the antibodies. Your liver spins it, you piss it out, and all you have to do is take it right back in. It is liquid gold, and there's billions upon billions and billions of stem cells in that urine. Most of you don't realize that you've already drank your own urine. When you're in your mother's womb, you were living, bathing, and drinking it. The number one, or one of the number one side effects from taking the bioweapon is blood clotting. Do you know the number one pharmaceutical drug for blood clots? Would you like to know what it's derived from?
Tell me.
Urokinates. Would you like to know where urokinates come from? Urine. Urine. Most of your high-end beauty products all contain urine. The number one weight loss drug on the market was called HCG. Kevin Trudeau wrote a book about it. The weight loss cure they don't want you to know about. Do you know what it comes from? Pregnant horse urine. I mean, you people have to wake up and understand that this body is perfect. And urine therapy is amazing. But again, if you don't want to do urine therapy, you don't have to, even though it's free. You know, Masterpiece is a miracle, and it works unbelievably well. And we need your help to get this information out there. And I strongly encourage you guys all to go to knn.world. And at the very top, click Masterpiece and sign up as an affiliate and buy at least 2 bottles and begin to get that graphene oxide. And a lot of you saying, I didn't take the vaccine. Well, I don't care now, okay? Because the patents are showing now that they're putting this in the food. They're putting it in the water. It's in the air that you're breathing. It's everywhere now. Because they couldn't get us all to take these bioweapons. Now they're going to self-vaccinate all of us with the graphene oxide, with these bioweapons. So first and foremost, you have to make the cells communicate. That happens with these little chips right here that you put where your pain is. You put these on your body if you want energy. Put these on your cell phone, your laptop. This will make the cells communicate. They're free, 561-329-8434. Then you got to get rid of the toxins. Masterpiece is a miracle for getting rid of the toxins. But then you have to rebuild the body. Well, Christopher, how do you rebuild the body? Well, IGF-1 derived from deer antler velvet is the fountain of youth. Right now, they're killing the chickens. And why are they killing the chickens, Christopher? Well, because the chickens lay eggs. And the eggs have what's called IGF-1. A lot of you guys know what HGH is, human growth hormone. If you talk to any anti-aging doctor in the world, they will tell you if you want to stay young, if you want to slow down the aging process, you want to do what's called synthetic HGH, human growth hormone. Most of us can't afford it. It costs anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000. It's synthetic, so I won't have anything to do with it. And you have to inject your subcutaneous fat. Now, when you do that, your liver transfers into what's called IGF-1, insulin-like growth factor, the building block for life. Don't believe me? Ask Judy Mikovits, ask Dr. Lee Merritt. They will tell you the building block for life is IGF-1 derived from deer antler velvet. They used to do synthetic HGH. They now utilize our IGF-1 derived from deer antler velvet. It's the fountain of youth. If you want to stay young, if you want to have great skin, great hair, great nails, if you want to keep your youth, IGF-1 derived from deer antler velvet. Dr. Latini has deer farms in New Zealand. His deer, their antlers, are literally the fastest growing substance on planet Earth. They grow an inch a day. If you go there and stay for 24 hours, you can physically see the antler grow a full inch. And the reason why it grows so fast is a high concentration of IGF-1 that's on the tip of the antlers. He's been able to extract it out, put it into a lipo delivery system that his scientists invented, and they patent 30 plus years ago that gives the body 98% absorption. Everybody laughed, made fun of, but now every supplement company in the country now is using his lipo delivery system because it has 98% absorption. But more importantly, he has clinical studies to prove that if you do the 300,000, this is 600,000, but if you do the 300,000, it increases your IGF-1 levels by 60%. 60%. This is the fountain of youth. This is why so many people around the country is utilizing this product. It's been banned by the NFL, the PGA, Major League Baseball, the NCAA. When I was on the cover of Sports Illustrated nearly 11 years ago, people knew about IGF-1, deer antler velvet, but they didn't know a lot about it. And then now, since then, this is a household name. That there's 1,000 different companies now that produce IGF-1 derived from deer antler velvet. Dr. Latini bought most of those companies' product, had it analyzed. Come to find out, not one single company had 1 nanogram in their product. So be very careful where you get your products from. Make sure it's somebody you trust, somebody you know. This product right here, I personally take. It's just like Masterpiece, but there's 1,000 different companies that sell Zeolite, but nothing like Matthew and Dr. Robert Young's Masterpiece Zeolite. That is the purest, the smallest nanoparticle on the planet. And this IGF-1 allows your body to rebuild, to regrow, and rejuvenate. And anybody that's listening tonight, right now, our men have been feminized by design. That they've been filled full of estrogen from the water they drink to the food that they eat, the BPAs that's in everything now. And I need men to be men again. Okay, I need men to have testosterone. I need men to go stand with me and be the protectors and speak up and speak out. But by design, they've done this. They've made our men docile. They made our men feminized, and they've done this by design. So you've seen all these infomercials and whatnot about, take your men's tea and from a pharmaceutical drug and, increase your testosterone level. Now, what that is a synthetic testosterone. Okay, it is a steroid. Okay, and what steroids do is they're unnatural, and it makes your body's testes stop producing it over time, and you become a customer for life. So what we did was we took God's perfect herbs, 4 different herbs that naturally increase the testosterone. And this product right here called Men's Edge naturally increases your test levels by 40%. By 40%. And what we're trying to do is make men men again. So any of you men out there that don't have energy, that are no longer waking up like they were in their 20s with a pinched tent in the morning when they wake up, that are lethargic, don't have the strength that they used to, it's because your testosterone level has went completely down. And it used to be when you got 40 or 50, but now we got 20-year-olds that have no testosterone. This will increase your test levels by 40%. And if you go to getigf1.com, that's getigf1, the number 1.com, or you can go to knn.world and just click IGF-1. If you buy the Men's Edge, we're going to give you a free bottle of the 300,000. We're going to give it to you for free just to say thank you. Okay, because we need to make men again, and we know once you buy this product, you'll be a customer for a very long time. We tell everybody to give it at least 90 days, and your body will be changed forever because you're finally getting the nutrients your body needs to rebuild, to regrow, and rejuvenate. You women, we haven't forgotten about you. When we first brought this product back to market 3 years ago, all you women are the shoppers, and we're buying the products for your husbands and your boyfriends. And, they were starting to call me up and says, Christopher, my husband, my boyfriend's completely changed. Is this something I can take? Yes, most definitely. Because you women, you need IGF-1. Okay. So what we did was created a women's only product specifically for women that has some other vitamins and minerals that women are lacking. And for you women, if you go and get the women's only product at Get IGF-1 or knn.world, we'll also give you a free bottle of 300,000. This is a game changer. Your elite athletes, all the rich and famous, they're spending thousands and thousands of dollars on growth hormone, and basically for less than a couple $100, you'll get, well, actually for less than $100, you men can get on the Men's Edge for $70 and get the free 300,000. You women can get on the women's product for less than $60. And what I tell people, what I do is a combination of the IGF-1 with the Men's Edge. You women, you just want to do the strongest IGF-1 for you to give your body the nutrients it needs to rebuild, to regrow, rejuvenate. Everybody's hearing about peptides right now. You have to inject those. This right here, all you have to do is put it on your tongue. You hold it for 30 seconds, and it's delivered into the cells, 98% absorption. It's very simple. It's sweetened with stevia. It actually tastes good. This is something that we have very simple protocol for, that I believe is the solution. And I believe this is why they've done everything they can to silence us, to keep us from speaking our truth, because they don't want you to be healthy. They don't want you to be able to speak God's word and tell God's truth. And they don't want this body to heal itself, because Christopher Key doesn't heal anybody. All I do is tell people what I do. And then if you choose to follow the protocol, the body will heal itself. And right now, I want to talk to all those out there that are gay, that are lesbians, that are transgender and whatnot. I'm here to tell you, God didn't make you that way. Okay, God didn't make you that way. Man did. And what's happened right now, and we're seeing all the evidence, and a lot of you guys don't realize this, but MRC-5. A lot of you don't know what it is. It's the aborted little baby boy that they murdered, that they used to grow out your vaccines. WI-38 is a little baby girl that they murdered, that they used to grow out your vaccines. What they're doing is they're taking little boy DNA and little girl DNA, putting it together and injecting it into your temple. And we can't figure out why we've got little boys and little girls that don't know if they have a penis or a vagina. And I'm here to tell you, we know exactly why, because they're putting both of those DNAs into the body, and that's confusing the temple. And God didn't do this. And we've seen many cases now where people started taking the masterpiece, and we've been told that if they're a woman, they don't like women anymore. They like women, but they're not attracted to women anymore. Men, they're not attracted to men anymore because it's able to get rid of those toxins and the body does what it's supposed to do. And this is real science, and people can't comprehend this. They don't realize that God created this temple perfectly. And for you guys to think that you need to take a vaccine filled full of toxic chemicals, and you forget that your body has an immune system. And it's so sad. And for anybody out there that believes vaccines are safe and effective, I want to go very simply right now to hepatitis B. Hepatitis B, mom's going to get tested for hepatitis B, and they know that mom doesn't have hepatitis B. And when your child is born, before that baby is 24 hours old, they're going to inject it with the hepatitis B vaccine unless you tell them no. And my question has been to all these medical doctors is like, why? Well, why are you doing this? Because you've tested mom, you know mom doesn't have it, so there's no way that child can get hepatitis B unless they share needles or have sex. Do you really think your precious child, before they're 24 hours old, are going back to the neonatal and they're having an orgy back there and they're sharing each other's needles? Do you really believe that? I mean, surely to God, our children aren't having sex and sharing needles till they're at least, 7, 8. I mean, but this is so diabolical evil because they know at the higher levels that as soon as they give that hepatitis B vaccine, it makes the brain bleed instantaneously. That's why they have to give the body the vitamin K shot instantly to coagulate the bleeding of the brain. This is real science. It's real truth. You don't want to believe it. I don't want to believe it. And I tell people, don't believe nothing I say because I'm bat crazy. But go do the research. And if you can come back and show me, Christopher, you're wrong. Please, let's have a dialogue. Let's talk about this. Let's look at the science, and I'll have an intelligent conversation with you. Okay? But nobody will do that because when we show the real science, all their pseudoscience falls apart. And the medical doctors don't want to believe they've been lied to because this is all about money. It's all about money. And when you first take that vaccine, you then become a customer for life. Our medical doctors have no reason to make you well. Because if they make you well, you don't come back. And if you don't come back, they can't pay for their prostitutes. They can't pay for their second wife. They can't pay for their second house and their beach house and all these other things. That is the reality. And I don't want you as a customer. I want you to come a customer at once, but then I want you to get your temple taken care of and leave. Because there's so many people sick right now. And we got to help get you well. And I don't get anybody well. All I do is tell people what I do. And I think I look very healthy for my age. I've taken care of my temple, and I think I'm aging backwards. And I continue to get better and better and better because I watch what I eat, I watch what I drink, and I utilize things to get rid of these toxic chemicals to allow my body to do what God intended to do, which is heal itself. And so many people are in pain right now, and you don't have to be. And that's why you can go and give me your name, address, and email to 561-329-8434, and I'll ship these anywhere in the world for free. You want to put these on the rectangular ones on the back of your cell phone, your laptop. And again, if you have any questions, you can call me directly at 561-329-8434. I love to conversate with anybody that's willing to listen. And your body will heal itself from all these cancers and dementia and Parkinson's and all these different ailments, because all they are, my belief, is lack of cell-to-cell communication, and you're filled full of toxins. And the food is not the medicine anymore. The medicine is not the food, as Hippocrates used to say. Our food is dead food now, and that's another project we're working on. By 2035, we want the food to be the medicine again, and that can happen because this soil can be healed. This planet can be healed if we stop poisoning it, but they don't want to. And that's why we got to quit being divided, because you're Jewish, I'm Catholic, you're black, I'm white. Right now, we're in the midst of the sixth extinction. And there's very few people, but me and a few others, that are talking about this. And right now, 1 in 3 of the males in America are infertile. 1 in 4 of the females are infertile. Like you were saying earlier, we didn't see any of these autism people, back in the 60s and 70s. How many fertility clinics did you see in the 60s and 70s and 80s? Now there's fertility clinics everywhere because none of you women can get pregnant anymore. And it's not your fault. They know the simplest way to extinguish us is make it so we can't procreate. And like I said, in the animal kingdom, when it gets to be 1 and 2, that animal goes extinct. We're in the midst of the sixth extinction right now. Right now, by 2035, 1 out of every 2 children born will be autistic. 1 out of 2. Okay? Right now, because of everything that's happened, the government fined me another $6 million. I'm having to drive a truck. And there's 8 guys that are truck drivers at this company I'm working for. And 2 of the 8 have autistic children. I mean, it is everywhere now, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. And no, it's not just the vaccines. It's highly contributed to the vaccines, but it's also what's in the water you're drinking, the food that you're eating. It's everywhere now. It's being done by design because the government doesn't love you. These pharmaceutical companies don't love you. Before we close out, I've got to go to this real quick because Monsanto, who started out in Alabama. Monsanto used to be the largest chemical company in the world. They created Agent Orange that was dumped on the Vietnamese soldiers. And this chemical company, say it again?
The people in Vietnam are still having birth defects to this day.
Yes, ma'am. And Agent Orange was created by Monsanto, who then became the largest producer of seed in the world. So hear me. Monsanto used to be the largest producer of chemicals in the world. They then became the largest producer of seed. So they completely, totally infiltrated our seed. And when I was a little boy and we planted tomatoes in Alabama, unless we had a cold winter, those tomatoes always came back every single year. But now your tomatoes don't come back anymore. Why? Because they've been genetically altered so that you have to buy more and more seed. It's just like a watermelon. If you're eating a watermelon that doesn't have a seed in it, yeah, you don't got to pick out the seeds, but it is dead. The life is in the seed. Okay? Wake up. You're being lied to. You're eating poison. You're getting no nutritional value from your food whatsoever. So Monsanto, who used to be the largest chemical producer in the world, became the largest producer of seed in the world and got bought out by the largest pharmaceutical company in the world. So now a pharmaceutical company owns all the seed and the chemicals in the world. That should be very discouraging to you people, and our government allowed this to happen. Bayer Pharmaceuticals is the company that now owns Monsanto. And see, if you go back and study Rockefeller medicine, Rockefeller couldn't patent what was of God, for God, and with God. So what he did was he took God's perfect herbs that he couldn't patent. He added petroleum to it. Yes, petroleum is in all your pharmaceutical drugs, and all it does is put a Band-Aid on a problem that causes another problem that causes another problem. And now you're waking up and you're 20 years old, you're taking 20 different medications. That's not right. That's pure evil. It's pure satanic. And you people can heal your own bodies if you take back your temple. And I believe it starts with my painted energy chips, Masterpiece to get rid of the toxins. And then the IGF-1 is the building block for life. You can get all that at knn.world, crisiskey.life, or getigf1.com, or you can text me directly, 561-329-8434. Before we close out everything, I want you guys to please hear me, because you are the resistance. You have all the power. They don't want you to realize the power that each and every one of you individually has. And everybody's like, well, Christopher, I'm just one little person. What can I do? Well, what you can do is share this information. Okay? You share this information with one person. One will turn to two will turn to four. And before you know it, there's 7 billion souls around the world that finally realize the satanic Luciferian mass eugenics that is happening right here, right now. And we have all the power. We outnumber them. I mean, there's only a couple thousand of them, and there's 7 billion of us. And your children, your grandchildren have no future. And I ask everybody that listens is, are you doing your part? You know, I'm a grandfather now, and my grandson will never, ever be able to come to me and say, Peepaw. He's going to call me Peepaw. He's almost 2 years old. Peepaw. He'll never be able to come and say, Peepaw, why didn't you speak up? Why didn't you speak out? Well, why didn't you stand up and do your part? I'm doing my part. I got a lot more to do. And God, through me, I will get it done. But my question is, are you doing your part? And you may not want to be boots on the ground and going to jail like I have, you know, have everything taken from you like I have. But if you can share the information you've learned tonight with your families and friends, take this episode, make a comment, like this. This is how we get around the algorithms to get this information out there, because right now there's so much Satanism, such satanic things are going on. It's pure evil at the nth degree. And I want you to know there's hope there. And we win in the end. It's been written. But you can't sit around and do nothing. You have to do your part. And it starts with taking back this temple. And that's been my main mission for the last 27 years, to show people how you can easily take back this temple. You know, when you give the body what God intended it to have, and it's not pharmakia, it's not sorcery, it's not these pharmaceutical drugs, it's not these vaccines that have MRC-5, WI-38, that has mercury, aluminum, all these nanobots and nanodots. This is pure evil. And you're either with us or against us. And I need your help. So I don't know if that covered everything for you, what your thoughts are.
I feel like I have learned so much, and I just want to take a moment to thank you so much for giving us your time tonight. I appreciate it, and I hope people will continue to share your message. And I'm gonna.
We love to help it. We love to help anybody that's willing to listen. And please, guys, text me your name, address, and email, so you can see this is real, so I can gain your trust, and then know that Masterpiece will, I believe, get rid of the toxins. And then, like I said earlier, the building block for life. They're killing the chickens because the chickens lay eggs. They don't want you to have IGF-1 because it is the fountain of youth. If you want to stay young, if you want to slow down the aging process, this is the answer. And it's been banned by the NFL, the PGA, Major League Baseball, because it works. And it works very, very well. Like I said, if you go there, and if you're a woman and you buy the product for women, we're going to give you a $300,000. If you buy the Men's Edge, that increases your male's testosterone by 40%. We're going to give you the $300,000. You know, give this 90 days, guys, and I believe your temple will be changed forever. We've had customers now that have been taking this product for over 30 years because they want to feel good, they want to look good, they want to have good hair, good skin, great nails, and it's not that expensive. Like I said, human growth hormone costs you about $4,000. A bottle of steroids costs you about $100. And right now you can get for $70, you can get a full cycle of this, and for $60 you can get a full cycle of this, and both of you will get the $300,000 for free, just to say thank you.
All right, Christopher, I'm going to attach the links for people to be able to get in touch with you. And I just hope that they follow suit. And I appreciate your time.
Yes, ma'am. Please, when we get off this, send me your address so I can get you some the chips shipped out today. Do you have any pain in your back, your knees, your leg? Do you have any pain anywhere in your body?
I do. I have bulging disc and I've got bursitis in both of my hips.
Okay, well, you don't have to. And you'll be amazed with this technology. You'll see instantly that this works. And then, like I said, when you then get the toxins out with Masterpiece and then give the body the nutrients, it's very likely within 90 days, your body will be changed forever.
Okay. Well, I'm going to send you my address and hopefully you'll come back soon.
Yes, ma'am. Love you and God bless. Christ is Key, ChristIsKey.live, 561-329-8431. No, 561-329-8434. 8434. I'm sorry. KNN.world and GetIGF1.com. Love you guys. God bless.
All right. Thank you, Christopher.
Thank you, ma'am.